I used to watch Marcus on YouTube before I came to Atlanta. And that's why I'm talking to him, because I'm trying to get my story out. For those who do believe me, I'm trying to get my story out. I want the world to know that what was done to me and my child. I was put out on the streets by DHS at 16 years old.
So you went to state custody?
With a grown man, yes, because my mother was abusing me, Charlamagne Adams. They took me out of her custody.
Who was you pregnant by?
A grown man, Maurice Gerald Washington. I had to leave home because I am getting attacked for telling the truth. Now that I have gotten older and I'm telling what happened to me, I'm being attacked by my family.
Why do you think that you're important enough that the government is going to use their resources to try to make your life bad?
Because they did things to me and they don't want me to expose what was done to me. I only can tell you what I know. It's up to y'all to believe me. I'm just reaching out for help.
What's up, YouTube? So guys, we got merch. Make sure you go to AtlantaStreetInterviews.com and grab one of the newest drops. The merch is popping, so make sure you go get it now. AtlantaStreetInterviews.com. If you love the channel, or if you just like the message, Homeless Lives Matter, we all have a story. Or I love Atlanta Street Interviews. Go right now, AtlantaStreetInterviews.com. Get one for your auntie, your mama, your sister, your cousin, your brother, your nephew, your frenemy. Get one for everybody. AtlantaStreetInterviews.com. Go cop the merch. Now back to the content.
Oh, look.
What's up, YouTube? You look fine. How you doing today, miss?
Hi, good.
All right, what's up, YouTube? Atlanta Street Interviews out here with another one. So we got a young lady with us today. How you doing today, miss?
Hi. Good. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm nervous.
And so, right after that, are you homeless?
Yes.
Okay, and so how long have you been homeless?
A month.
Okay, and so what happened a month ago that caused you to become homeless?
I had to leave Philadelphia because I was being gang stalked, harassed, intimidated by the police and government officials in Philadelphia.
Okay, and so is that where you're from, Philly?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into that. How old are you?
I am 48.
48?
Yes.
Oh, you look great. That
Thank
black
you.
don't crack. All right, look at that. All right, so 48. And so do you have any kids?
Yes.
How many?
3 boys.
3 boys. How old? How old is the oldest? How young is the youngest?
And my oldest is in the 30s, and my youngest is 16.
16.
He'll
Okay.
be 16 this year.
And so who does the youngest live with?
He was taken from me. I don't know where he lives.
So
I don't
state
know
custody?
where he is. No, the last I heard, he had an ankle monitor on, and he left out of state custody 3 o'clock in the morning from Carson Valley in Pennsylvania.
Was he in custody?
Yes, he was.
Okay, got you. Okay, so, but I guess you didn't raise him or whatnot?
No, I did raise him.
Okay.
I raised him until he was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was being gang stalked and harassed by neighbors. They would come to my door and spread feces on my door, bust my windows out every day. They went to the police, put false charges against me. The police arrested me. They left my child in the house. What
were the charges?
They said that I attacked my neighbors when my neighbors came to my house to attack me and my son, and I was defending myself. And the police, I didn't get arrested that day. I came in one day, my son walked out to go to the store, and he noticed we had feces spread on our door again, and he let me know. I called the police, and they came and arrested me and told me I had a bench warrant.
Okay, so they arrested you because you had a bench warrant.
Exactly. Okay. So when I got home, my son was taken and put in state custody. I had raised him for 13 years. His dad is a DHS worker, Jaron Desmond Hawthorne. He is a state worker in Pennsylvania and a DHS worker. He has been for decades.
DHS is the Department of Homeland Security?
It's Child Services.
Okay, Child Services in Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah. But I was refused child support. He never took care of my child for 13 years. He alienated him. He never seen my child from about 3 years old, and that was on and off until he was 3, until he was 13 years old.
Does he like not doubt paternity or something like that?
No, he knows that he's the father, but to spite me, he doesn't take care of the child. He never take care of him.
So right away, one of the reasons why I want to do this interview is because, you know, you're saying the stuff about the gang stalking and stuff like that. I always get red flags when I hear that type of stuff. So we're gonna dive into some of that stuff. But before we do that, and have you ever been married?
No, I have not.
No? Okay.
I have never been married.
Never been married. All right. So let's just start from the beginning. So where you from?
I'm from Philadelphia.
You from Philly?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Shout out Philly, man. Shout out Philadelphia, Pennsylvania all day. All right, man. The Super Bowl champs. I ain't mad at it. All right. And so growing up in Philly, did you have both mom and dad in the household?
No, I had my mother in the household. I grew up in Frankfurt Projects, in the Northeast Whitehall Projects on Tacoma Street with my mother, Charlamagne Adams. She was married to Wayne Alfonso Braxton, my stepdad, who molested me for my whole childhood until him and my mother broke up.
What was that age? How old were you when they broke up?
Probably about 11.
And when did he come into your life?
He's been in my life since I was a baby.
Since you was a baby, basically.
Yeah.
When did...
He's my brother's biological father.
Okay, your younger brother.
He's my stepfather.
I get it.
Wayne Alfonso Braxton.
What age do you remember, do you personally remember him doing the molestation and stuff like that?
All throughout my childhood.
So what age would you say the first memory of it would be?
About 6 years old.
6 or so?
Yeah.
Okay. And so when he was doing this stuff, was it a situation where you told your mom or anything like that?
Yes, my mother knows. She hid it. She basically sold me to my stepdad, and she allowed me to be raped every night by Wayne Alfonso Braxton.
So you're talking about penetrative sex?
Yes. While I was a child. My mother's room is right here, and my room is right next door to her. We stayed in Whitehall Projects on Tacoma Street, and he raped me throughout my whole childhood.
Is your mom still living?
As far as I know, my mother is still living. I had to leave home because I am getting attacked for telling the truth. Now that I have gotten older and I'm telling what happened to me, I'm being attacked by my family, but I already was. I'm like a black sheep in the family. So I never had a dad. I only had my mother and my dad's side. My dad is Andrew Coates. He's a police sergeant in Philadelphia.
You're talking about your biological dad.
He is supposed to be my biological dad. But as I grew up, I realized I was adopted. He's not my biological dad. Neither is my mother, Charlamagne Adams, my biological mother.
Okay.
I was trafficked through them.
Trafficked through them?
Yes. I do not know my biological mother. I don't know what hospital I was born in. I have a birth certificate. I put that on YouTube. I tried to find help before I left Philadelphia because I was being harassed and gang stalked so much. I was being followed. They stole my identity. They hacked my bank accounts, my Cash App cards. They was coming to my house, busting my windows out with me and my child. I was a single mother.
Who do you think was doing this stuff?
My mother, Charlamagne Adams. My father, Andrew Coates.
So let's pause right there, right? Because I told you when we did this and agreed to do it, hey, I'm gonna challenge this stuff.
Yes, you did.
Okay, and so okay. Do you know if your stepfather's still living?
No.
So,
my mother told me that he was deceased, but I think she just told me that because she covers for him, because she been knew this and she never did anything. She acted like she was going to, but she never did.
You say they broke up when you was 13 or 11?
Probably about when my mother had her last child, which was my sister Priscilla. I don't know exactly what year, but
because you say the stuff was happening.
Maybe when I was about 11. I started leaving home when I was 12 due to abuse, because not only was I being sexually abused, I was being beaten by my mother with ropes, extension cords. She would beat me on a daily. She would crack our necks. She would hit us with anything wooden. Like, she was abusive.
So let me ask you this: Do you think that your mom loves you?
No, of course not. I don't even believe she's my real mother. I don't know what hospital I was born in.
So hold on, let me slow you down. So you say you don't believe. So you don't necessarily have any evidence, it sounds like.
No,
that she's not your biological
I have the
mother.
Evidence through my birth certificate. I have the evidence.
Does she claim to be your biological mother?
Yeah, she claims to be my biological mother, but if I was trafficked, and my family is government officials, so they can easily do that. I have no family.
But you're saying government officials.
I was emancipated from the court systems of Philadelphia at 16 years old. I was put out on the streets by DHS at 16 years old.
So you went to state custody?
With a grown man, yes, because my mother was abusing me, Charlamagne Adams. They took me out of her custody.
Who was you pregnant by?
A grown man, Maurice Gerald Washington, while I was a child.
How old was he?
They was sending, he was in his 20s. He was like
early or late 20s?
About his middle 20s.
About his mid 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was probably about 10 years older than you or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
About like 7, 8 years older than me, yeah.
Okay,
but, you know, I was 13 years old. I stayed with him until...
When did you have your first child? You say 16?
When I was 17.
17,
I first got pregnant by him when I was 16, but he was having intercourse with me around about on my 12th birthday, like when I turned 12. He broke my collarbone. He was very abusive. I used to get beat. This happened to me in DHS care when I was 15 years old. This is before I was pregnant. So I was like 14 or 15 years old. He beat me. He broke my collarbone. Maurice Gerald Washington of Philadelphia, Frankfurt, Germantown, Lambert Street. I have 2 boys by him, my 2 oldest boys.
Sounds like y'all was in a relationship.
We were, but I was a child. You can't really be in a relationship
I
with a child.
Get it, yeah.
So at my age, being homeless, being on the streets, being in the custody of the state, in and out of foster homes and group homes. So, you know, that was the only person I knew was my baby dad. But he was abusive to me. I was a child. I got emancipated out of Philadelphia court systems at 16 years old, pregnant with his child. They put me on the streets. This man was abusing me. It was hard to leave him. I didn't leave him until I was like 19 years old, and I got beat for leaving him too. My family sends abusive men in to date me. They send.
So let's pause. Okay, so why do you think your family is sending men? Like, you don't have to choose these guys.
Because,
you know, like,
I feel like, well, no, I don't have to choose these guys, but if men is coming in disguised as something else, as I told you earlier, a person can put a mask on.
So you really feel like...
see a person for who they are, and especially if you're a child, excuse me, if I'm 12 years old, I'm a child. I don't have as much understanding as a grown man have.
No, I get that, but we're talking about when you was a little bit older.
Okay, yeah, when I was a little bit older, but yes, they send men in, like my child's father, Jaron Desmond Hawthorne.
So let me pause you real quick. Okay, what part of this is your fault? What part of this do you take accountability for?
What do you mean by that?
Well, not the childhood stuff, obviously.
I'm not going to take accountability for being trafficked. I'm not going to take accountability.
So let's pause right there. So as far as being
the
trafficked,
government putting me out on the streets at 16 years old when I'm still a child. So
how did they do that? Like, did you request that or whatever?
No, I didn't. I'm 16 years old. I don't have anywhere to live. They took me from my mother from being abused, sexually abused, and being beaten. They took me from my mother. So I don't have a choice in the matter. I'm a child.
No. I get it. As far as the childhood stuff, I get that. Okay.
So as a grown woman, I'm out here now. I had to flee from Philadelphia because I am being hunted by government officials. So I had to flee Philadelphia. That is all I knew my whole life. That is all I knew. I've been there my whole life. I didn't just pick up and leave and come to Atlanta out of nowhere for nothing.
I get it, but I guess off the bat, people are going to say, okay, well, it sounds like mental. So has there ever been any mental illness diagnosis or anything like that?
No, I am not mentally ill. No, I do not have no mental illness diagnosis. I have PTSD from my childhood, everything that I endured in my childhood. And the adult abuse, you do know you can get adult abuse from family members, right? You do know that, right?
Right, of course.
So just because I'm at my age and I'm not a child anymore, that doesn't mean you can't be abused. And if you're getting grouped up on by gangs of people, that's abuse. And that's more than one person can handle it, though I did, but I knew when it was time to leave here. I made a YouTube channel as well to try to...
Yeah, what's your YouTube channel, by the way?
Monique Adams.
How you spell Monique?
Moneak. Adams,
okay,
Adams.
Okay, that's a different, that's a
Monique
unique
Adams.
Monique. That's a unique spelling.
Thank you.
Of Monique or whatnot. But
Thank
okay,
you.
I guess what I'm trying to challenge you in a easy and soft enough way, right?
Okay.
So, because I don't want you to feel offended or nothing, but
I'm not going to.
Well, you may, because
I'm just going to defend myself, because that's all I'm used to doing is defending
well,
myself.
and listen,
So
that's
I can
right.
defend
That's what you
myself
should do.
very well.
Absolutely, right? But right off the bat, it's just like, if I asked your mom, like, hey, what do you think about this video she just did on YouTube? She's saying all this stuff.
Well, you can go in court records and see that I was taken out of my mom's custody in the projects in Frankfurt on Tacoma Street.
When was the last time you saw your mom?
Like, it's been years. We're estranged. My family is abusive, so I don't be around them. They all gang up on me. They're abusive. So I rather be on my own than to be with abusive family members that tell lies on me and try to turn other people against me. And basically what they do, they try to paint me in that light. And so I'll leave.
So, okay, and I get that, right? So let me ask. I've become a huge fan of the Steve Wilkos show, right?
Yeah.
Ever since I was on there last year.
I called the Steve Wilkos show.
You called the Steve Wilkos
Yes.
show? And what did they say?
I couldn't get through. I didn't speak to anyone. It's like a voice recording or something.
So I'm gonna reach out. Do you mind if I reach out on your behalf?
No, I would greatly appreciate it.
Okay, so because you know, like
I need help. I want someone to hear my story. I want people to know what happened to me, so I can find my real family and people can know what was done to me and my children. I want people to know. That's why I made a YouTube channel. I'm not insane. I have all my faculties. I know what I'm talking about.
Well, some people are going to challenge it just because...
I know what happened to me. I wouldn't have been taken out of my mom's custody as a child and put in state care and emancipated at 16 if nothing happened to me.
And that case, when you was a kid, was about your stepdad basically molesting
and
you?
my mother abusing me.
Okay, so the case, officially, if I looked at the paperwork, would it have the story about the stepdad, or would it just have mom's abuse? If I looked at the DHS paperwork from when you was a kid.
Child, so I don't know, but I was being abused and I was being beaten by my mom.
And how did they come to find out? How did the state or whatever come to find out?
Because I left. When I was old enough to run, I ran. And I haven't lived with my mom since I was 12 years old.
Right. What I mean is that you ran, and then I guess you came across police officers, or how did they open up a case?
Oh, because I went to school one day and I had whelps and whips on my body.
Gotcha.
I was going to Harding Middle School on Tarsdale Avenue. And I went to school and my teacher seen whips all over my body. My body was red. And she called DHS and they took me from my mom.
I got you. Okay.
I was living in the projects in the back of the school was in the back of the projects. And I went
And you say
school.
something happened to you when you was in foster care as well?
Yeah, my child's father broke my collarbone when I was in foster care on Homer Street with Ruby Adams.
When would you be with him? Like, because you was living with whatever foster
with a foster
family.
parent, but all foster parents don't care.
Right, so you would be out.
They won't feed you. They don't care where you go, what you do.
Yep.
I would be in there with a broken collarbone. I got no medical attention. That's why I healed like this. I had no medical attention, and the foster mother didn't help me.
So I'm gonna ask about the whole government officials thing.
Okay, yes.
Just because somebody works for the government doesn't mean that they're a government official.
My father's name is Andrew Coates. He worked for the government. He is or was a sergeant on State Road.
And so you're saying he's a sergeant?
And a pastor,
right.
Yes. And
okay.
He has ties. He's a Mason. He has ties in Philadelphia. And he's helping me get gang stalked. My grandma passed.
But this is the one that you said is your biological but not biological.
Yes, that's the one that they had me raised as to thinking was my father, but this man has never been there for me for my life. And then
but that's not proof that he's not your biological dad.
Okay, but the only way I can tell you is I do not feel like these people are, I was trafficked through them. I do not feel like they are my real parents. I was trafficked through them. Like, I never had a mom. I never had a dad. Even
so
though
why don't you just do blood work? Why don't you do like a DNA test? You know what I'm saying?
Because in Philadelphia, I have family members that's work in hospitals, and they pull my medical records and they put false statements out about me that's not right.
Like
so
what?
I had
Give
to
me an
come down
example.
here to like say I have AIDS, but I have a card in my bag right now that I went a month ago and got an AIDS test. I don't have it. I got my the hepatitis, but I had that card in my bag. But they pull my medical records. They tell lies on me to try to get people to not be interested in dating me or no one to want to be around me or be my friend. So they tell lies on me. That's why I had to move down here.
That's the big question. I always want to ask people, why do you think, and don't take this to hold on, let me finish it, right? Why do you think that you're important enough that the government is going to use their resources to try to make your life bad?
Because they did things to me and they don't want me to expose what was done to me.
And you feel like the thing that they did to you is they trafficked you to like this family, but in the hood though?
Exactly.
Why? For what purpose?
And they stole my identity. They stole my identity. They're using my name. They're doing malicious things to me behind my back, using my name to try to frame me and set me up. And I'm trying to tell you what's going on. I didn't come here for nothing. I didn't make the YouTube page for nothing.
No,
like,
I believe that you
crying
feel,
out
listen,
and trying. No, I don't believe. I know what I went through, though. I know what I endured.
Well, and I
know
I believe right. So the molestation part, stuff like that, I'm inclined to believe that type of stuff.
And when I start speaking and telling what happened to me, my windows start getting busted out. People start.
What age did you start speaking about what happened to you?
Some years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, I started speaking out, telling. But my family was always doing things to me, though. They would always go behind my back. They would act like they there for me, but behind my back, they would talk about me, tell lies on me.
How you know?
But because I know, I found out. What they do, they would act like I do. Like them saying I have diseases. My sister has a disease. And I try to tell people that she's the one with disease. She has AIDS. But they'll say I do. But I have a bag right here on my card. I got tested right here in Georgia.
I get it.
I have nothing. My sister, Sharmika Adams, she have AIDS. Richard Thompson, he has AIDS. They're incest. They have children together. Like my
family, brother and sister?
They're
cousins or something?
Yes, but my family is an incest family. Charlotte Mae Adams, Andrew Coates. I only can tell you what I know. It's up to y'all to believe me. I'm just reaching out for help. I don't.
So what type of help would you be looking for?
I want my identity back. I want to stop being gang stalked. I want to
What
stop
do you mean
being
your
targeted.
identity back? What specifically does that mean?
They stole my identity. They're using my name. My name, they're using it in Philadelphia. They're stalking me. They're telling lies.
What are they using your name for?
For crimes. They're doing illegal things with my name. They hack my bank accounts. I can't even go on my bank accounts in Philadelphia. They can. Like, literally, the people in the bank, everybody is in on it. But no one wants to listen to me. My father has connection. He has ties. He's a pastor.
The father you're talking about is your biological,
Andrew,
but not biological.
Yes, okay, Andrew
gotcha.
Coates. He was never a father to me. I didn't meet my father.
Why don't you just go do a DNA test?
Because I could do none of that in Philadelphia. You don't understand. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
I guess I'm hearing it, but I mean...
They're stalking me out there. They're avidly stalking me. They're targeting me.
If they were to come across this video on YouTube,
they're going to be angry.
What do you think their thoughts and their reactions would be?
They want to take me off of this earth. That's why I came here. That's going to be their reactions. That's what they're trying to do.
So why didn't they just do it when you was in Philly? It was probably easier to do it when you was there.
Because they couldn't.
Why?
Because they just couldn't.
Well, if they're powerful enough to do all this stuff you're saying, seems like it would be pretty easy to just take out a single lady. It sounds like you don't have when's the last time you had a boyfriend, a man or whatever?
It's been a long time.
How long, if you don't mind me asking?
I had to stop because I seen I was being targeted and men were being sent into me. So I stopped dating for like 5 years. I started practicing abstinence. I stopped having sex. I got more spiritual, and I put all my attention into the Most High. But if I tell you that I know, because if I look,
No, take your time.
I know what happened to me.
Right,
like,
right. No, listen,
whoever don't
I believe
cannot
that.
believe it, but I'm just trying to reach the people that do believe me and that haven't been gang stalked and do know being targeted is, and people putting illegal cameras up in your house and sex trafficking you through your own house, them attacking your children when they can't get you, them stealing your mail. I was in Philly for 2 years. They stole my mail before I moved to my house. When I lived in Fair Hill, Rochelle Cope's manager, Mr. Burns, Mr. Lawrence, they were stealing my mail. I haven't received mail in 2 years in Philadelphia. I had to leave. They took everything from me. They trafficked me. They took my children. They trafficked my child. I had to leave Philadelphia.
They trafficked your child?
And I'm reaching out for help. That's why I did this interview. I made my own YouTube page. I get shadow banned. They stopped me from getting subscribers. That's why I'm talking to Marcus. I used to watch Marcus on YouTube before I came to Atlanta. And that's why I'm talking to him, because I'm trying to get my story out. For those who do believe me, I'm trying to get my story out. I want the world to know that what was done to me and my child.
Okay. Well, I mean, on that note, if anybody out there did want to reach out, help, or donate, do you have a way for them to do that? Social media, Cash App, anything?
Cash App, Monique Adams, MONEAK Adams, ADAMS 3. So that's $, Monique Adams 3.
Okay. No IG or Facebook or anything like that?
I don't do social media. I made my YouTube page to try to
get my
story out. If not, I wouldn't even have that. I don't really do social media. I stay to myself. I don't have friends. I didn't in Philadelphia. I stay to myself.
So how much of this is just you just being socially isolated?
No,
you
it's
socially
not. You
isolated.
Don't understand. That's why I tried to show you the YouTube page so you can see them busting my windows out. You can see a girl pulling a gun out on me. You can see the cops coming, not in assisting me.
That doesn't necessarily mean gang stalking. It could just mean you got a beef with somebody.
No, I don't associate with anyone. I don't have friends. So I don't have a beef with anyone. I have no beefs. I'm not that kind of person.
Okay.
I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm a joyous person. I'm a happy person. Like, I don't have beefs with people. So that's not me.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, miss, we appreciate you taking the time, answering all the questions, answering my pushback. All right. I had to challenge some of this stuff because I hear so much of this. I hear it all the time.
No, I'm sure you do.
And so most people, honestly, when they hear this stuff, they see this stuff, they're thinking she just maybe has some stuff going on, or she's just really stressed.
No,
life situations have stressed her the heck out.
Sergeant Yancer, Philadelphia 22nd District Central Detectives, they were gang stalking me. They literally pushed me out Philadelphia Housing Authority. I had to leave. They stole from me. They put cameras up in my house. They put me on the dark web, and then they defamed my character, and they try to betray me as crazy so no one will believe me or listen to me. I haven't been homeless ever in life. This is the first time because they pushed me out of Philadelphia. They stole my identity. They took everything.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, miss, we really appreciate you, like I say, and we definitely wish you nothing but the best, all right? Make sure you have a good one, sweetie. All right.